Hello, we are live for the Southern Crush Spring Craftathon. So good to see you. So good to be here today. And as you jump on, say hi, tell me where you're coming from. We are going to be hand lettering a very simple project today. So if you've never met me before, and this is the first time that you have watched me, my name is Krystal Witten. I am a hand lettering artist. My business is Krystal Witten Studio, and I've been a hand letterer now for about 11 years and really lean into the faith and lettering aspect. So we are going to be doing a super simple project today. Hey, Melanie, with one of these little acrylic boards from the dollar store. So you can see that it was just $1.25, and I left that on there so I could show it to you, but I'll go ahead and take that off. And then we're going to be using a template from the Scripted Faith Collective, and I printed it off big here so you could see the whole thing in detail, because whenever you download a template like this from me, it comes fitted for an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Usually cuts down to 8 by 10. Hey, Stephanie. So obviously that's not going to fit. So that is too big. So I did print it smaller. I just scaled it down to about 60% smaller instead of printing it at 100%. So that's super easy. And we are going to draw right on top of this acrylic board and make a little cute sign. And I did this 5 by 7 size because I wanted it to fit on my tiered tray in my family room. So it'll be perfect for Easter. So that's what we've got today. So this is the big size. And then this is the scaled down version. So this is super simple. And what I mean by that is you don't even have to worry about tracing paper with this. So you can just take a little bit of painter's tape, and we are going to secure that. So as we're working, it doesn't shift around at all. So how are y'all doing? Have you been having fun today with Melanie's Craftathon? Learning lots, getting some good ideas. Oh, it's been so fun. I've gotten to catch a few of the presentations. I was at my niece's bridal shower this morning, so I was able to pop on and catch a few of them. But it has been so fun. It's always a pleasure to see all of the different kinds of creativity that God has given us. And in my time teaching hand lettering and all of that, I have people tell me all the time, well, I'm just really not creative like that, or I'm just not that creative. And I say, yes, you are. Yes, you are, because you were created in God's image, and He is a creative God. And so you are creative too. You have creativity in you. You just got to figure out what kind of creativity He's given you. So it's just been really special to see everybody's creativity today. All right. So I've got a couple of different paint pens here. So a lot of times I'll use a Posca, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. This, I only had a medium tip in the white though, which for this size, I feel like would be a little bit too big to get some of those finer details. So I do have the Sharpie Creative Marker, which you may or may not be familiar with. It is an acrylic paint pen, but you don't have to shake it. It just flows naturally, which is really nice. And it's very smooth. I feel like it writes like butter. And then these are a little bit newer to me, the Grabbies, Graby. I don't know how to pronounce that. If somebody knows the correct way to pronounce that, tell me. But you do have to shake this one to get it going. I see people coming on saying hi. And if you're new to me, yay, thank you. Please follow me if you're interested in faith and lettering, because that is mainly what I love to focus on. Teaching lettering tips, teaching you even how you can use templates like this. If you say, I'm not a hand letterer, but I love the hand lettered look and I want to create things that look hand lettered, but I need a hack. So that is definitely what a template like this is. It's a hack, and it's brilliant and simple. So let's get going. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the Sharpie and do the lettering part because it's thicker, but then we're going to go in because the grabby is much more of a fine tip and maybe do some of our little flower details. So when you are hand lettering on acrylic, it's very smooth, but you need to know that it will show some of your shaky hands. Okay. And listen, my hand is shaky all the time too. So there is no shame in having a shaky hand. Hold on. My tape here is covering up my lettering. There's no shame in having a shaky hand. All right. It is very natural. And sometimes all you need to do is just warm your hand up and get those muscles going, get the blood going to your hand, and then it gets a lot smoother. So we're going to just go along here. We're going to trace over this template. And whenever you see the shakes, because I have a little bit, just coming on, not being warmed up too much myself, you can always go back in with a paint pen and you can smooth it out and make it look all nice and smooth once your first coat has dried. So nothing is ever beyond repair or beyond fixing. You know, when we make mistakes in the crafting world, the creative brain just goes, okay, well, how do I fix that? So, you know, we'll just do something to cover it up. And Melanie says, are you left-handed? Yes, I am. I'm left-handed. And I've got a little trick for you. If you're also left-handed, I'm going to show you here in just a minute one of my tricks when you're dealing with paint. And you're going to see that I'm going to turn this kind of all which ways so that I have the most control and so that I'm not dragging my hand through the wet ink, because that is the most challenging part about being left-handed, is that we just, you know, we have that one thing working against us. Everything else, it's just a modification. But with the left-handed, yeah, you are going to cover up a little bit of what you're doing. So you could, with a template, start from the right and move left. And we could actually do that here. Sometimes that might kind of mess with you a little bit in your head, though, because you're so used to writing like normal that might feel weird. So try it. I always just say, try it, you know, do a lot of trial and error and don't be afraid of messing up, and then just try it a different way the next time. And you'll be surprised. Eventually you will find what works for you. So this is my little trusty card that I keep nearby when I'm doing these projects, because what you can do is you can just lay that on there, and I'm going to kind of lay it to the side, and then you can rest your hand on the card. And as long as you're not smearing the card, you're going to not be smearing the lettering underneath while it's still wet. But that keeps your hand from getting in there and creating all kinds of smudgies. And the ladies who watch me live every week, they know that a lot of times I get down to the end of my projects and I get to talking and I'm not paying attention. And then at the very end, I do a smudge. And that is always unfortunate and a little annoying. But so far, we've been able to fix all the smudges that I make at the very end and go along with it. See, right there, it did pull up just a little bit of, I don't know if you can tell right there because it was wet, but it didn't smudge it. It just pulled it up. So we're going to go back over that. And I already know that I want to go over this white and give it a second coat. So I'm just going to get that first coat in there first and then come back and smooth it out and all of that later on. So I'm going to switch now. We're going to go ahead and trace over all these pretty little flowers for spring. Tell me if you have done hand lettering before. You can put a 1 in the chat if that's easiest. Just say 1 if you have tried hand lettering before, and then a 2 if this is something that you have never done before, and hopefully it's something that interests you, because you know what? Hand lettering has been a huge gift to me and to my family. And I think that it could be to you too, because you can just do so many things with lettering, from gifts and decor, your own gift wrap and signs and, party decorations, all kinds of things. So you can create things for people, create things for yourself, but you want to know something else, because I told you whenever we first started that I really lean in on the faith and lettering aspect. So when I first started hand lettering back in, let's see, my daughter was 1. So back in 2014, I was a graphic designer and I just needed a creative outlet for myself, because my creative design work was, well, it wasn't for me, right? It was for a client. And I just loved looking at Pinterest and all the hand lettering stuff on there. And I thought, oh, I just would love to learn how to do that. It's so amazing. And right about that time, I had started a Bible study. A friend introduced me to a Bible study, and I didn't really want to go, to be honest with you. I was like, I don't know. I was kind of in a dark period of time. And she said, come on, there's free childcare. And I was like, okay, you got me. You got me with the free childcare. And so I started going. I've always been very active at church, but a Bible study is an extra commitment. And so we had the best time in this Bible study. It was called The Amazing Collection, and we read a book of the Bible a week, which is like, wow, it was a big commitment. But through that process, God really opened my eyes to how amazing his word was, how amazing scripture is. And I just felt like my creativity, being able to hand letter scripture verses, was an outflow of what I felt like God was doing in my heart at the time. And so I remember the very first verse that I ever hand lettered was Exodus 14:14, which is, oh my goodness, I didn't have it in my head right before I said it. So Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And some versions say you need only to be silent. But I hand lettered that verse. And listen, I did not know what I was doing. I just went on Pinterest and got some ideas and copied a bunch of stuff. And it was I was like, I memorized that verse. When I finished it, I was like, I memorized that. That's so cool. And so lettering, beyond just being creative, has been an awesome way to connect with God through scripture and to memorize the word and just worship him. So anyway, that is a little bit of the backstory on hand lettering for me. And we're just going and tracing. This is going super fast. So I told you that this was going to be simple. And it's nice because you can really see through this clear. So a lot of the projects we do are more template based. The ones that we do that are template based, we trace with the graphite paper onto like a wooden sign or a banner and things like that. So, you have to check it and make sure it's tracing okay and make sure it's transferring where you can see it. But I love that we can just see right through this. And we're adding in all the little details. The nice thing about these templates is that they are very versatile. So you can really do a lot of different things. And you could even cut off the flowers completely if you didn't want flowers, and just make it be the words only. All right, so now I got to figure out how to get in here in the middle with my hand without smearing it too bad. And again, we're not worried about completely like perfectly transferring everything. I mean, it's pretty easy to transfer, but if you're a little off, it's okay. I always say that done is better than perfect in life, right? Done is better than perfect. Don't worry so much about being all perfect. Just get it done. And obviously we do our best that we can. I try to tell my kids, I homeschool, I have 2 kids and I homeschool them. And I tell them, do your best work. Do it for the glory of the Lord. But don't get so caught up in being completely perfect that it keeps you from even trying, right? So that is, I bring that mindset in here. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I used to always try to make everything perfect, and then I never produced anything. So it just really feels good to just let that go, you know? All right, so our last step here, we're going to remove this, and we're going to paint the back of it. So I've got this color. It's Folkart Turquoise. Nothing special in that name, but I'm going to just put on a little coat of paint here. And if you have any questions about lettering, let me know. If I don't see a question in the comments now, then I will go in later and I will answer your questions. But if you have any questions on lettering, you can put them there. I love lettering. I love all different styles. This was calligraphy. And actually that Sharpie pen was so thick still that I didn't even go in and do like the thick downstrokes and all of that. I feel like that'll be in the next coat. And so I will post a picture of it when it's all done to my page so you can see. But look at this bright, pretty turquoise. Oh, and it doesn't even, the camera just does not even do this color justice. It's so bright and pretty. And so what I'm doing, I want it to kind of have a messy background look. So I'm not going all the way to the edge. I want it to just cover up the lettering, all right? So that it serves as a background for it, just like that. And so I think it definitely is going to take another coat. And I do have my my hair dryer heat gun thing here to make it dry a little bit faster, but we're close to time, so I'm probably not even going to worry about doing that. But look, isn't that so cute? So you can see my hand was a little bit shaky doing that. And so another coat is going to help cover that up perfectly. But I'm going to even bring it up close so you can see that even with 11 years of hand lettering, you know, not perfect. All right. So I want you to feel confident to try something like this. If you put a 2 in the chat and you said, I've never done hand lettering before, there's no reason why you couldn't try with a hack like this. And so I have this little stand, and I'm trying to figure out what to do here, but I have a little stand from the dollar store, and we're going to put it in the stand and put it in the tiered tray. And I will post a picture of it. So I want you to get to the next presenter. I thank you so much for being here with me today. And pull that down. Just hold it like this. So thank you for watching. I hope that you'll follow along. If you're interested in faith and lettering, follow my page, say hello, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right. See ya.